You don't own it.
I'm curious.
If you don't hold it, you don't own it.
I'm curious to get your thoughts when you saw this news, what you were thinking. I mean, do you believe the news? And two, before we actually talk about the system, why do you think they announced it? Like, if it's supposed to be a competitor to the dollar, if they're planning something, why announce it?
Well, it's kind of interesting because, yes, when I heard that news, immediately went to my mind was they can't do it till they burn off the debt. So unless they are creating with what backing. So I, of course, did some digging because that's what I'm about. And
Yes.
and this announcement was made from the Russian embassy. I think it was in Kenya, but it was somewhere in Africa.
Yes.
And then RT picked up on it and ran it as if it was a given. Now, when I did my digging into it, what the BRICS nations, what the BRICS Bank is actually saying is that they don't have plans to back any currency, or certainly the BRICS currency, with gold at this point. That all they're talking about is enabling all of its members to use their own local currency to transact with each other. Now, Russia has announced that they're not going to be attending this BRICS summit next month. So it's going to be really kind of interesting with them backing out. And I understand, why they did with the Ukraine war and not wanting to get the whole world involved and thinking that they're going to do it. But I personally, ultimately, yes. And I think a more interesting story is actually what's happening in Zimbabwe, because that's where the test of a gold-backed CBDC is taking place at the moment. But no, I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can do it.
Well, and thank you for explaining that, because one of the questions that came to mind is, okay, even if it's China and Russia, they don't have enough gold to back such a system. Don't you need a lot of gold to get that kind of system off the ground?
Actually, that's like a misconception of a lot of people. Like, well, they can't back a currency with gold because there's not enough gold. Well, what really matters is the price of the gold in terms of that currency. And the whole point of gold being a stabilizing influence is because of its rarity and its broad-based use. So you don't actually really need a tremendous amount of gold in order to back a currency. It would just be how it was valued in terms of that currency. So we will see a gold backing again, because they're going to have to do it in order to get confidence of the population to use the currency, which is what makes what's going on in Zimbabwe so interesting, because they're coming out, they're in the test phase right now to see acceptance of a gold-backed CBDC, except that at least at this point, I have not been able to find where in their documentation they're saying that that CBDC will actually be convertible into gold. And until a currency is actually convertible, how do you know the gold is there? I mean, it's kind of like a crapshoot. So it's really interesting for me to see how this is going to be accepted there. And I'm certain, I am 100% certain, every single central bank is watching this.